Cheryl Head, award-winning author of the Charlie Mack Motown Mystery series, is a producer, broadcast executive, and writer. She's spent her career working to spread diversity and inclusiveness.
So I have a series that I write called the Charlie Mack Motown Mystery series, and book 6 is the latest in that series, and it's a look at the nascent beginnings of white nationalists in Detroit, in southeastern Michigan in general. And I was inspired to write the story after hearing a couple of pieces of information. A story came on about an FBI report in 2009 that talked about the number of assassination attempts that had been thwarted against Barack Obama. 6 or 7 months later, I read in the newspaper about this conspiracy to kidnap and murder the governor of Michigan. So I'm from Detroit, Michigan. So both of these stories touch my heart. And I thought, I want to do something with these two pieces of information. And let me write a story about how these cells begin and who are the people who members of these groups and where do they come from, and are their hearts changed and hardened, and are there people there who can come out on the other side and not be part of these groups. And so I took off writing that story. It was a little demoralizing because I kind of tried to immerse myself into the groups. They have all kinds of chat rooms that are really available for anybody to go and see and hear and participate in. But it did bring a real authenticity to the book, I think. I do try to have a certain amount of empathy for one of the characters, a young man who is just becoming radicalized. And I really want to kind of understand, what are the things in his environment and what are the stressors and fears that he has that would drive him to these groups rather than go another way. So I think I've done a pretty good job with that story. I got an Anthony nomination for that book and a couple of other mentions for that book. So I felt good about writing the story. I thought it was important to do. It's called Warn Me When It's Time.
When learning about such heavy topics for her books, how does she avoid being dragged down by the research?
I did have to kind of walk around a little bit afterwards, but I wrote it quickly because I was forming the story in my mind, so I didn't spend a lot of time on the writing part of it. I probably spent as much time kind of ridding myself of the horror that's in this and kind of the dread that you feel when you think there's so many people involved in these groups, and will we be able to really come as a society, come out of this on the other side of it? Until we really deal with it, we're not going to ever be as great as we possibly could be. In the end, I think I did a good job of presenting it in a way that people can both see it for what it is and possibly understand how they have to be vigilant about it.
Is another Charlie Mack mystery coming up next?
Yeah, I'm writing almost every day. It's not always working on a novel or short story. It's often working tangential to that. I have a new book coming out in February that has been quite an emotional ride for me. It's based on a true event in my family. My grandfather in 1929 was killed by police in Birmingham, Alabama. So that's Jim Crow South. My family didn't know a lot of details about the incident. My mother has always kind of kept it fresh. In holidays, she would bring it up. But for a long time, we haven't had details. I thought about writing a book about it when I started writing. Then I thought, well, where do I start? It seemed overwhelming. But when George Floyd was killed, I thought it's really important for me now to write this story to make a point about the fact that this systemic racism that has invaded some police forces is not a new phenomenon. To look at where we've come from and how far we still need to go. I think these are all teaching moments. These conflicts we have, and when I think about people tearing down the Confederate flag, I think to myself, I'd much rather leave the flag and put a plaque there that says something about why that flag is there. That starts a discussion about why that's seen as a legacy piece for some families and some communities, and why for other families and other communities it's seen as some horrible reminder of the viciousness of this country towards them. I just think we need to look for the opportunities for these teaching moments and not be so quick to run to our camps.
To aspiring writers, she gives this piece of advice.
Do not pay attention to the advice to write what you know. You can write what you're curious about. and write what you're impassioned about. But if you're writing about things you don't know, or people you don't know, or people who are not like you, please do the homework of bringing your whole curiosity about those folks. I talk to them about cultural competence in a presentation I do, and saying to folks, you really want to tell a story that's authentic to the folks you're writing about. So get a broader network of people, get sensitivity readers, really come to writing about another culture or another group of people with a lot of humility, and certainly do the homework.
Baltimore County Public Library met Cheryl Head at the Creatures, Crimes, and Creativity Convention in Columbia, Maryland.
Well, I got invited to this conference, which I love, and I will come back again. Mostly I'm going to mystery conventions, and it's, these mystery people who all plot, except for the cozy ones. But here we've got crime fiction people. Well, we've got people who write about dragons and elves and horror and science fiction and fantasy, and it really is splendid to kind of be out of my box around that. It really has been inspiring me to think about my storytelling differently, which is what you want as a writer. You want to have new kinds of stimuli that say, oh, take off in this direction. So it's a conference that is very unique in that it combines these genres and some subgenre and gets us all and mixes us in a bowl and gets us talking to each other.
For more information about the convention, go to creaturescrimesandcreativity.com.